Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we are going to be going over everything you need to know specifically on AMC stock, what the data looks like, where we are, when I expect to see kind of some upside momentum. I do also want to talk about this situation that we had on Friday, where AMC stock actually did very well when the markets were down. You know, the NASDAQ had a really rough day, and AMC stock outperformed. I want to speak on the dispersion of capital that we may start to experience and go over expectations versus reality in terms of where other stocks are at and where AMC is at relative to them. And that's actually where I want to start this video. I think expectations are the most important thing when you're investing in the short term. Now, the short term could be a year, 2 years. That's generally what I consider short term. Medium terms like 3 to 5 years, long terms like 10 plus years. Okay, so in the short term, stocks don't really trade as much off of earnings as you would think. Over the course of, give it 10 years, earnings are by far the most important thing. But in the short term, it's all about expectations. Now, I want to bring something up that we'll talk about a little bit more in the next video, but it's actually Nvidia. Nvidia has a lot of parallels, I've heard, compared to, I wasn't investing at the time, but I've heard it has a lot of parallels to Cisco in the dot-com bubble. Now, here's where expectations kind of become so obvious. Cisco still has yet to hit a new all-time high from its high in the 2000s, whereas Cisco earned about 50 cents per share in 2000, and today they're earning over $3 per share. That's a 600% increase. That is a six-fold increase in the EPS, but yet the stock still is not even back to its all-time high. Cisco back in 2000 was a stock you had to own. If you did not own Cisco during the dot-com bubble era, you were likely losing clients. People were laughing at you. Cisco was the next big thing. Now, obviously, that turned out to not be correct. Maybe. Who knows? Cisco, still decent company. Not a terrible company. But the stock collapsed compared to, you know, where it traded at. And it kind of traded sideways for years. For many years, okay? What happened here is the expectations for Cisco got so high, you pulled forward 25 years of earnings into Cisco in a 2-year rally. So the stock traded sideways for 25 years. Now, why am I even saying this about Nvidia? Look at these stocks on a month-by-month chart. Okay. If you were to take out this extra time here, it would look pretty much similar to Nvidia. It's vertical, right? Which, you know, the stock's not trading at super high prices, but the problem with Nvidia is margins will get worse, okay? All of Nvidia's customers, essentially most of them, are looking to develop their own chips. Meta, Google, Amazon, Tesla, they're all looking to bring their own silicon in-house. Well, that's a problem for margins. Well, Nvidia with this rally has pulled forward so much demand. Expectations are very high. With that pull forward in demand, the market cap increase that you have seen, Nvidia going from $100 billion of market cap to $2.5 trillion of market cap value, you have drained the markets of liquidity in other areas, like an AMC, like your other small caps, like a Tesla for that matter, or even an Apple, that are deemed as really not, AI stocks, okay? If you start to get a decline in Nvidia, if you start to get, some decline in the broader NASDAQ, maybe not a full-on collapse, but some kind of downtrending decline, it wouldn't surprise me to see AMC start to outperform a lot. Now, the real question is, if you're buying Nvidia, did it pull forward 1 year or 2 years of demand, or did it pull forward, 20 years of demand? I don't know that answer. but expectations are way high there, and they're way low for other companies like an AMC. And those expectations are low because obviously, I mean, the theater business has been in a rough place, but the capital has just moved, right? This dispersion of capital has hit AMC very hard. So I do believe, give us some time here the next couple of weeks, AMC stock may actually start to outperform. Now, in this upcoming week, we're going to have a bit of a problem on our hands, and we'll talk about that in the next video because there could be, quite a problem, let's be honest, with the Fed, with the first rate hike from Japan in 17 years, with the GTC conference from Nvidia on Monday. There could definitely be some problems here, but, long story short, AMC's a $1 billion company. Nvidia has pulled hundreds of billions of dollars from small caps, from other stocks into its market cap. Just to get capital leaving Nvidia could give, and I'm picking on Nvidia, it's Nvidia, other companies as well. It could give a boost to, companies like AMC, other companies. Just a couple $100 million heading into AMC likely gets the stock back to, $7-8+ per share, which would be a pretty impressive return from current prices. So I just wanted to put that here front and center in the video because I think a lot of people forget that, in the near term, it's all about expectations, all about the flow of capital in our markets. And when you're not seeing a lot of money head into our markets that is replacing money that's going into Nvidia, then Nvidia just drains other stocks. When Nvidia is this must-own company. So, Monday, I think, could be important. Tomorrow could be important for that matter. Now, I also want to point out crypto. Now, crypto, I think, is in kind of a secular bull market here. I'm not expecting much of a decline for crypto, but crypto has fallen at least somewhat from the highs that you were at about 74,000 on Bitcoin, down to about 68,000. At one point, Bitcoin was down to about 64,000. So you fell about $10,000 from the high to the low. We'll see what ultimately happens here with crypto. And you're up almost $2,000 today. But crypto has also taken quite a bit of money out of equity markets. And that wouldn't surprise me if at some point that does come back into markets. So looking forward to that when or if that does happen. Now, specifically for AMC, let's get started with the Ortex data. Option activity for last week. You had 18 orders totaling $2.89 million with a positive order value of 28%. These are trades from hedge funds and institutions. On Friday, option activity looked a little bit better. You had 6 orders totaling about $750,000 with a positive order value of 86%. So looked a little bit better on Friday, that's for sure. Cost to borrow fees about 4%, a little bit higher than where they have been recently, suggesting maybe a little bit more shorting activity than what we have been seeing recently. You do have short interest percentage of free float at 12.81%, $143.44 million currently in short positions. Days to cover 2.15, 33.59 million shares that are currently sold short. Shares out on loan 43.68 million. Cost to borrow 1.08%, utilization of 58.74%, and a short score of 66.89 out of 100. So decent activity. Decent numbers that you are seeing here. Really can't complain all too much with these numbers. Now, last week was a big week for the Stocko tracker and just AMC overall option activity. You had a lot of it. Okay, you had calls in the money about 12,000, calls out the money 271,000, puts in the money 26,000, puts out the money at about 111,000. So a decent amount of option activity for sure last week, and maybe that gets rolled over into the next couple of weeks of expirations and lead to more heightened volatility for a period of time to come. That really wouldn't surprise me at this point. A lot of people just roll their options over, so I do expect the options are going to get a lot more what's the word, populated for this week's expiration, which could add to volatility. Now, surprisingly, sentiment is pretty good today. Sentiment is at 60. Yesterday, it was at 40. So yesterday you were at bearish. Today you are bullish, which is surprising considering today is Sunday. Message volume today is a little bit lower than yesterday. Yesterday was 50. Today you're at 49. Participation ratio is at 54, which is categorized as normal. So, that's kind of where it has been, roughly in that range, 54, 55, which again for a Sunday is overall pretty good. So there is that. Now, AMC on a technical basis, here's where things get interesting. If you get above that 50-day moving average, things could get very bullish for AMC quickly. Now, you've been finding resistance at this 50-day moving average for a long time now. It feels like forever. Really, it hasn't been that long, since February 15th, about a month now. You've been finding resistance at that 50-day moving average. You're kind of like a spring that keeps getting, kind of squeezed here. And you're going to break to the upside or to the downside. Now, it wouldn't surprise me in this week if you did break to the downside, considering all of the potential volatility that you could see, all of the bad news that we may get with the Fed and, Nvidia and the Bank of Japan. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we break down this week. We'll talk about that in the next video. But if indeed you do break to the upside, then you're looking at potentially a 35+% run up to that 100-day moving average at $6.06 per share. This purple line here. So you could see quite a move in AMC next. And that's kind of what I'm expecting, even with the RSI neutral at 48.62 and the MACD looking pretty neutral as well. I'm expecting quite a rally at some point here over the next couple of months or so. Maybe that's when we get closer to getting the first rate cut. Maybe that's, as the economy continues to be strong, or maybe AMC just starts putting up some better numbers here for whatever reason or another. I do think we're destined to go higher from here. Do the shorts ultimately cover? I think that's the big question in the air. And I think Adam Aaron, AMC can get that to happen whenever they want to. Whenever Adam Aaron and AMC want, they can say, we're not going to dilute shareholders for the next 6 months, 3 months. And that likely gets a lot of shorts to start covering on short positions. That likely gets a lot of momentum back into the stock as well. So let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Stay tuned to the channel for the next video. We're going to have a big one for you, breaking down all of your major events coming this week. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.